y'all, my name's Dan. I'm the Hoosier Hillbilly. Today on this video I'm going to do an unboxing and assembly of what I expect to be a somewhat chintzy, weak engine stand. Why do I say that? Well, it says right here, made in China. Now would I rather have one that says made in USA out of American steel? Hell yeah, I would. And if I had the time to locate one, I probably would have got one. But I'm in a bit of a hurry. I got an engine hanging on the engine hoist right now that I need to get torn down. So I was in a hurry to get this, and so I'm gonna just see what we got here. It's a King 1,000 pound engine stand. Now I bought this at Orscheln's Farm and Home Store. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like a Rural King or a Tractor Supply. It's the only one they had. They didn't have one on display, and it's probably a good thing that they didn't have one on display, because if I seen how chintzy it was, I probably wouldn't have got it. I'd have had to go somewhere else to try to find one. So we're going to get this thing unboxed and see what we got here. The box looks like it's handled by a gorilla, but it's all steel product inside, so I expect we'll be all right. All right, let's see what we got here. Take a look at the head here that holds the engine. Now, this is a pretty nice thick piece of steel here. But this right here, that's a little thin, like I expected. That, and same thing with all this here. This is shit, I don't know. That's pretty thin stuff. Let's just take a tape measure here and see what we got. Let's see. Not quite an eighth of an inch. I would have preferred, you know, 3/16. Let's see what we got here, and we're looking at about 3/8. 3/8 for that. That's okay. That's good. But yeah, a little thin on the rest of it. See, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's our little thinner than 1/8 inch. They might classify it 1/8 inch. I don't know. But all right, we got some pretty decent looking cast iron wheels. One thing I like about this engine stand over other engine stands I've had in the past, and why do I not still have them? Well, the engine stands I've had in the past were all fully welded together. They're definitely heavy duty and that, but they fully welded together, and it's not something I use all the time. So since they're fully welded and they take up a lot of space, they're kind of hard to store from the way they're built. This one here, since it bolts together, I will have the option, once I'm done with it for right now, I can unbolt it and be able to store it somewhere out of the way. So let's see, we've got, oh, and like I was going to say, one other thing I like about this is it's got this front bar here that goes on the front leg of the engine stand, the outrigger, and so it's got two wheels on the front instead of just like the old ones like I had, where it only had one wheel at the end of the outrigger, and they can be a little tippy sometimes when you're trying to work on the engine. And I've actually seen an engine go over on one of those. Luckily it wasn't me. I had one about go over on me one time, but I was able to catch it and save it. And bolts, yeah, definitely no grade 8s, but and they, of course, being from China, they're metric. What's this? Parts list. Instructions? Yeah, we don't need no instructions. We ain't no woman. Alright. Little bitty old handle. I could give you a little longer handle to give you some leverage, but that's something we could address. It's nothing too hard. Okay. Unboxing is done. Now we'll unbag. Here's your pieces that go to your head piece to attach your engine to. Yep, not quality looking bolts, but they'll do. Okay, so let's start by pulling this bolt out here. This outrigger goes there. Yeah, like I say, see, it's got just a put your outrigger in, and you got a bolt here to tighten up. So that'll make it easy to take that out and be able to store this. So I'm liking that. Not liking the thin steel when I put my bolts in across here. Don't want to over tighten them. So, alright, let's grab us a bolt, some washers. Got these bolts here, probably about 10 mil bolts. Probably about, I don't know, 4 inches long. Let's see, we've got the nut washers, a couple lock washers. Okay. Run the bolts through there. Put one flat washer, then the lock washer, and then we'll find the nut. And same right here. Like I said, I've got an engine hanging on the engine hoist. It's a 302 out of my 1995 Ford F-150. About 180,000 miles on it. It was still all in good shape as far as it didn't smoke, didn't knock, didn't have no problems. Till Christmas morning I went out to start the truck. We went through a pretty big cold spell here in Indiana. Well, I guess all around the country there's quite a bit of cold spell. And it sat for about 3 days, and I went out to start it, and it cranked over about a half turn, and she locked up tight. What I suspected was, at the time, was that it hydro-locked. Had gotten antifreeze down in one of the cylinders. Which, like I say, when I parked it there, it was running fine. I wasn't having no problem with it. And so I kept bumping the key, and it finally got past that, and then it started up, and once it started up, it was hammering. It bent a rod, and when it bent a rod, now the bottom of the piston is hitting the throw of the crankshaft. So I got to get that engine tore down, and I'm just going to go ahead and rebuild it, somewhat rebuild it. I'm not going to bore it out or anything like that, because like I said, it didn't smoke or anything. But I'm going to do new rings, rod bearings, main bearings, all that. Replace the rod that's messed up, and that. But what I suspect happened was the intake gasket was probably about ready to go, and when it got so cold, it let loose, and a little antifreeze trickled down through the port in the head, and then got down into the cylinder. So when I'm turning it apart, I'm gonna have to be vigilant to find where that problem was, because I want to know what the problem was, because if it was not the intake gasket and not the head gasket, then that means I might have a cracked head. Let's hope not. So, okay, next we're going to put on this other piece down here at the end. Gives a, you know what? They didn't give me enough flat washers. Well, they expect me only to put one on each side, but I don't like doing that. So let's see what we're going to do. I got a couple washers now, so okay, you want to put these holes here down. That's where the casters are going to be going in. Lock washer. I think when I tighten that, I'm going to clamp that on there so keep that straight. Eyeball that. Okay, so now we need to grab some tools. Looks like we're probably going to need maybe a 17 millimeter. That's 13, that's going to be 19 down there. Clear that. Okay, so the front's tight. Now we'll tighten these back here. Move this first one a little bit. We'll look down there and see if we can't get it as straight as we can with the piece of angle iron that it's attached to. So looks good right there. Crank down on these. Yeah, I'd be afraid to use an impact tightening them up because I'm sure afraid they'd try to pull that metal in. Okay, so we're tight here, tight there. So let's get some wheels on. Make sure they fit all right. Looks like it's going to fit good, but I'm going to put a washer on there. Let's see. Probably intend for you to put a washer on after you put the wheel on. I'm going to lube this up before I put the wheel on here. I don't want to have no struggle when I'm trying to move this around with all that weight on there. So Need to find me some lubricant. Well, I was looking for some grease, but couldn't find the grease I was wanting, so just spray it with a little blaster lubricant. Well, now I hope. I don't know if can you see that? That thing drilled off. Now I hope this part was just off with this, and this is drilled center to this. Otherwise, this thing gonna be whoop whoop whoop. We don't want that. Take a look here. She's a. I think she's gonna be all right. No, she's. Wow. Yeah, that's all right. There's your little issue. Yeah, she's drilled center on. I don't know if I was even showing you the right side. She's drilled center there, but they run her through crooked. See that? Now she's a little too thick on one side and thin on the other. So, not ideal, but we're not going to be moving around a whole lot. Hopefully. And I expected there'd be some sort of problem anyway. You know what? I'm going to put a washer in there. And on another washer, so it's not quite so sloppy. There's still a lot of room left there. I might even add a couple more washers when I get some. I don't have any right now that size. So if I get a little lubricant in here. So you gotta try to fish your washers down inside here while you're putting these on. You've got a nut on this side right here. Once you put it on there to where you can hold that to be able to tighten it up, but I don't have no wrench that size that thin. They didn't bother to give us one with this. So here's where a gear wrench comes in real handy. When you work it down inside of a hole like that, can you imagine having to just use a regular wrench and have to keep taking it off and repositioning it? It'll take you a while. Hell, we got lucky, it held itself good enough that we got it tightened up. Okay, so we're good here. We're going to flip this dude over. Okay, now, this one they drilled a little bit better, but it still ain't quite right. You might want to do a little maintenance on their equipment. These pretty chintzy little hairpins to put in here. I'll probably upgrade those with a decent sized cotter pin. Alright, let's see. We're almost there. Well, that wasn't good. All that lubricant on my hands. I can't hold on to stuff. Well, somewhere along the line, I lost the lock washer. ready to go. Must what's rolling on me. Now, if that don't beat any, no, stuck to my magnet. Oh yeah, grab the rag and watch all this lubricant off my hand. But I got her. There. The rag right there all the time. A little spray on these little ball bearings in there. Okay, let me slide this out of the way, get her down on the floor. Okay, so I got her down on the floor here, and I'm here to tell you, she looks wonky. She looks like it's leaning, the upright is leaning off to one side, maybe twisted a little. Little brace they put down at the bottom is definitely crooked. The welds, they're welds. Not welds I would do. Okay, well so see, we got multiple positions. Other stands I've had in the past had a bolt that you thread down so you can put it in any position. This one's, you got, looks like 6 choices. So you're there, there, there. I prefer to have a choice to, if I want it right there, but I don't have that choice. It's there, or there, or there, all the way upside down there. So, and there's your little pin. You just drop it down in the hole, and it only goes through the top hole. If they'd made this longer, because there's a hole down there at the bottom, if they'd made this longer to where it goes through both holes, all the way plumb through, it'd probably be a lot more secure. But again, that's something I can address later. Make a pin. That's not going to be a problem. Now, for these here, we'll go on here. Got 4 of them. I'm going to put the bolts through this way. That way, because if you don't want the bolt going through this way, it could interfere with something on your engine when you're trying to get it mounted. But you got all these different positions. You can move it all around so you can be able to bolt it to whatever engine you need to. So we are definitely short on some washers. So I'm just going to throw this one on for now, because I'm going to head to Orscheln's tomorrow and tell them they need to. We're going to have to get some washers there. I'll tell them that they should give them to me, because this thing should come with a lot more washers. But all right, so that's the only one I'm going to put on for tonight. Got that, like I say, got these other ones. Get one there, one there, one down here, one down here. So you get your engine all hooked up. Now let me spin it around here. Shit. Okay, guys, that pretty much does it. Here's the final result, and don't know if you can see it on the video. It's the camera's up a little too high, but she got the Carolina squat going on here. It's definitely low in the back and high in the front, and just kind of odd looking, but There's no other way you could put it together to where it would be any different. So looks like it'll do the job. So once I get the engine on here, I'm going to be doing a video on tearing that engine down. So if you're interested in that, come back and check me out. If you want to subscribe, it's free to subscribe. Click the like button if you liked it. I got some other future videos I'm going to be doing. I've got a couple things I bought through the Vevor store, Vevor store, V-E-V-O-R, Vevor. Bought the Vevor mini lathe. It's pretty comparable to like the Harbor Freight mini lathe that they have, only it's a little bit longer. It's like 10-inch, or theirs is 7, something like that. Then I've also got a Vevor ultrasonic cleaner. Now I'm going to be doing some comparison on some cleaning fluids in that. Probably once I get the engine tore down and I've got some dirty bolts and stuff like that. So I've got, a lot of different bolts that are going to be consistently dirty with each other. We can try a few different fluids and some different powders, whatever, in that ultrasonic cleaner. See if we can figure out what works the best in there. And other than that, y'all have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one.